Yeah, you could tell Matt Rees and Sid Smith come from single-seaters. They were very aggressive in the run down to the... oh, we got two cars off on the inside.
Josh Stanton.
Yeah. I think that might be Ollie...
The Century Motorsport car on the inside, but the door is open and a really good dive by Will Martin. There's contact sideways is Smith. Is he going to hang on to it? He's not. Can they all avoid him? He's in the middle of the road. Cars are scattered left and they've scattered right. And amazingly enough, everybody has got around.
You've got Will Martin on the inside, George Gamble in the middle. He rides up, makes contact with Sid Smith that ends up spinning. And that's what forces Ellis off to the left then when they all take avoiding action. Yeah, he'll be looking past the car in front of him and he'll see this action. And look, he lifts off early, decides to go left, which was the right way to go, but in jinking left.
Let's see, he was all on his own. He comes into the old hairpin, he turns in the car, has a bit of a twitch, he's sideways, and he's off the road and through the gravel. So Will Martin will now take over the race lead.
There, he was just too deep on the brakes.
I know it's been wet there all day, but that's another car in strife at the same part of the circuit. We've just seen Matt Rees off the road.
It's further up, it's Starkey's.
Yeah, but what I was about to say was, did he have to go round the outside of Matthew Rees, and that's what put him offline? Because Matthew Rees has just rejoined ahead of him, and maybe that's what threw Stephen Jelly.
Have we got Rees rejoining the track? Yes, we have. Rees coming back on right in front of him. Well, there was room, but I think Jelly just got a bit wide to give a bit of room to Rees rejoining, fearing he'd come across the road. Jelly took his hands off the wheel correctly, but he just got out into the wetter part of the track and got dragged off.
Look from the outside, he's a complete passenger at this point, and it's that awful feeling, waiting for the bang, and it was a double hit, wasn't it? Hits the front and the back and spins the car around. He knew what was coming. And then it was lots of people all going for the same bit of tarmac, wasn't it? They came out of the corner.
It'll be on the exit.
Yeah, there's the tap, there's the launch, and then it just cartwheels and somersaults and goes over and over and over. That was a huge accident, and Will Burns' car already parked with the damage on the left front.
Wow. Just comes to get it, almost goes sideways, digs in and flips, doesn't it?
But once it goes, there's just no stopping it.
No, it shows even at the slowest corner on the track how much actual speed and momentum the cars have got.
So have another look. There's the clip, and over it goes, and then having hit the ground, it just bounces and bounces.
And Will Burns' incident was completely separate.
Jelly on the inside of Rees then, but Matt Rees on the outside line. Gets into the corner first. James Wallace goes way, way wide and out through the gravel, but he's going to keep it going, albeit...
Let's just see what happens here. Out to oh, he's carried too much speed into Graham Hill and just ran out wide, and he's not quite got enough steering lock, has he, to save it?
Replay here of what happened to Josh Malin.
He was wide going in, so he's braked too late. Couldn't get the car turned in and onto the grippier part of the track.
And of course, in order to do the overtaking here, you've got to go offline, where it will be slippery drama in the background. Our first casualty, one all over the grass. There's a lot of runoff there. Big slide for Hamilton, and around it goes. Back in the right direction, but he's a passenger at the moment. There's lots of arm twirling going on. He rally crosses his way back onto the... And also in replay here, more contact. That was Darrell Wilson being tagged sideways by Jonathan Beeson. They run in the club sport category. For the older cars, treacherous track surface, self-preservation is pretty important. Then it all kicked off again between the two, going out of riches, and that was a bit more bruising as they clanged the barriers.
It was. I think they actually checked up because the car in front got wide.
And you see the dramas going on ahead. And we also lost Oliver Meadows earlier on. Oh, that was a big, big drama down at... Hislops, way up onto two wheels. Lucky that didn't go over. Man to beat in the older cars pro class, getting himself in a bit of grief at Hislops.
Yeah, trying to go through side by side.
Talking of which, Balsidou, number 16 on the inside, recovering from his dramas on the first lap. Bit of hit and shoulder there, and he was the one that came worse off. So two dramas for Balsidou in this race, and he ends up spinning into the pit lane.
He dives to the inside. It's too late, and just gets a wheel on the grass, which means he's never going to stop the car, and cannons into, feints to the left, then dives back across. There's not really room, and he's too late on the brakes. I mean, I think in fairness, Max Coates was trying to give him some room on the inside, but it was just... And when they get to the corners, Coates sort of has to turn in, and there's contact.
getting in. Will Martin it is who leads Hugo Ellis second, and then third looks like being George Gamble. As around goes Will Aspin, and amazingly he has missed everything solid by millimetres. Hugo Ellis, standing only his second year of Porsche racing, gets a real dive up the inside. Fantastic move, there's contact, and that puts Will Martin out onto the weeds. He comes across, may have damage there as he tries to defend from George Gamble, who squeezes up the inside. Will Martin did not want to lose another place. He tries to stay on the inside line, coming down towards Clairvaux. George Gamble on the outside line, tries to go through, way up the curve goes Martin. That fires Gamble into the tar barrier, and George Gamble in all of that did absolutely nothing wrong.
Will Martin runs wide, Ellis gets in front, but just lets the car run out wide. Up the inside comes Will Martin, clips the inside curve, and that pulls the car out into George Gamble. He elected to let the car run out. Oh. And that broke the front suspension as well as shoving the car in.
Into the hairpin now, turns in. Gets a hit.
He had a hit, definitely, yeah. You could hear the thump.
Have a look on the outside. Andrew Rackstraw, I suspect, is the one that's gained the place. No, James Wallace up the inside. So Rackstraw was behind, but he left the door open. Wallace went for a gap and found Sid Smith in that gap.
Like maybe he picked up a puncher from somewhere, and then, a little bit of door action there. Yeah, that last hairpin is going to always cause a little bit of controversy in the sense that it's such a slow corner, such a tight...
Karim Sakat takes the dirt this time. He's ahead of Darrell Wilson. He comes into the corner and he's shoveled out of the way.
Yeah, he seemed to, I don't know whether he slowed up on the exit slightly there. Darrell's not one to just be big.
Chicane now, here we see it in front. Abby caught that curb I was talking about. It sets off a bounce and an oscillation in the car that you just can't save.
And to the inside line darts Charles Rainford to try to find a way through, can't do it, and side by side for third. Andrew Rackstraw round the outside and in trouble already. Off he goes. The South African driver has avoided most solid things.
He managed to get himself a little bit of a gap.
Ollie Jackson in real strife. Henry Dawes is the one that benefits by ducking up the inside, and Will Aspin, really good start by Gamble, because not only does he turn in ahead, he's already about 2 lengths up the road, if not more.
Oh, spinner at the back.
Ollie Jackson, isn't it?
Yeah, Ollie Jackson's going to try and keep it going through the gravel. Charles Rainford makes a little bit of a lunge at James Wallace, but backs out of it. And further back, there's the spinning Ollie Jackson. We didn't see if there was any contact, but round he goes. Jelly's on the inside. On the exit, they touch. That just turns the steering, and they're locked in together and can't avoid the barrier.
It was Martin trying to go around the outside, wasn't it?
It was, actually, yeah. And then the wheels, I mean, they do stick out on a Porsche. It's not a flat-sided car. Maybe discretion's a better part of valour on this one. I am leading my class. I do want to... Oh, car off on the inside. Is that... Was it Abby Eaton, Ollie White, maybe?
Ollie White, I think,
in the silver car.
But Seb Hopkins now making progress. Ethan Hamilton dives up the inside and clatters into Hopkins. That opens the door back for Jacob Toft.
Damage for Hopkins, maybe. Oh, more contact there.
Yeah.
Frustration from the drivers, maybe, but that looks like a bit of a scary run. So we see, loses the rear, the middle, catches it, but it grips up through this terrifying gravel that I always think if you're going sideways, you're going to end up on your roof. Done well.
RS Am category. Then you've got Hopkins and Trice getting together. Seb Hopkins, he's turned sideways and into the gravel. He will go. Has he got the momentum to come out the other side in what's been a torrid race? The car through is Joe Marshall then clear up front, and this is a replay of how cars got on the grass. It was a bit scrappy.
Yeah, that's not ideal. Just nothing malicious there. It just seemed like one car just maybe had a moment.
Safety car is deployed. This might be good news for Tom Bradshaw to bring him back into the game. How did he get there? That looked self-induced.
Yeah, looks like he's maybe just made an error into the corner and lost the rear end there.
He's doing what he did in race 1 and getting a very good getaway and building a lead. There's contact in the pack, but everybody has survived, or have they? No, because Angus Whiteside is off the road at Hollywood.
Just got into a bit of contact with Will Burns, I think it was. So you see Will Burns on the left there, just... in fact, Angus got squeezed by Hugo Ellis on his left, and there just wasn't enough room for the 3 cars, and unfortunately it turned him round.
So here's what happened at Brooklands. Oh dear.
Oh, contact on entry there. Maybe braked a little bit early and a little bit more contact just to finish the job off. And off goes spinning Darrell Wilson and back on track.
How did he get there? Battling with Ollie Jackson up towards Laffield and just slithers wide.
Yeah, he got on the inside curve, didn't he, on the right, approaching the corner. That hindered his braking.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been one of those days where you just can't quite knowingly make a call, but a little bit of a to me to you there from Marshall, and then eventually a little spin, but no real damage done other than.
Now let's have a look how this happened. Darrell Wilson on the outside.
Yeah, just lost the rear. Yeah, easy done. Just leaning on the tyre. You've got a car to your outside. You don't want to make contact. Roll off, delete maybe, and try and get going again.
May have had a tap from.
A little bit of a spin. Yeah.
Jamie Osborne was behind him, but I don't think there was contact actually. I think that was George getting a bit toey with his right foot.
Absolutely, yeah.
And here, Ethan Hamilton will arrive. He's already sort of understeered out.
Yeah, he's already appeared on the grass, hasn't he? So he's made an error going into the corner, but.
Now that's beached. I reckon that's going to be a safety car, and that's really bad news for Jenkins because they'll all close up behind him. Same part of the racetrack.
Yeah, so I wonder if there is something down there or something that's causing the cars to lose a little bit of control.
Taking no prisoners, is he? He's fought his way back into the lead, and he's getting away. The big losers. Around goes Will Burns in the middle of Clark Curve.
Yeah, fortunately nobody caught him there.
Getting a replay of what happened on the opening lap. Big lock-up, and Richard Hosking. In fairness, I don't think it was coal tyres. He was the victim of an attack from a mole. Lee Mole got into him.
For fastest lap. Here's a replay. Comes into paddock, high and wide and handsome, as famous Brian Jones would have said, but there's no grip out there, and he just lost it. Came in too fast. Couldn't get it to the apex.
So he looks like he's in a bit of trouble on entry. Loses the rear. Cheeky little spin. Or half spin. Carry on.
At the moment, he's having to go defensive, and that means he's dropping away from Hugo Elliott. And off the road is Harry Foster. He was a star in race 1. He's a rally crosser in race 2. Hooked a wheel into the gravel. He got it wrong coming out of paddock, and then had another spin up at Druids. I just wondered as he rejoined whether a tyre didn't look low. I didn't see enough of the shot to. Yeah, it's going to be quite a celebration, isn't it, at the end? And there, George Gamble.
No, that's Will Burns.
That's George
No,
Gamble.
it's George Gamble. Sorry, you're right. Absolutely.
On the slowing down lap, getting it wrong in celebration, coming out of Druids. So he
was trying to
celebrate
and show off, wasn't he?
Yeah.